Hey there, good morning. It is another great day. It's a little dark out yet as I record this. I'm your host, Jeff Ski Kinsey from FastChargeEnergy.com, and I just know for a fact this is going to be a great day. How do I know that? Because it's up to me. Okay? You have to make the decision. Okay, stuff's going to happen. That's true of almost every day in human history. Stuff happens. But it's how we approach it, our vantage point, if you will, that makes all the difference in the world. So I'm perusing LinkedIn this morning as part of my routine with my morning coffee. And I noticed this post from a colleague, I believe he's in Paris, about the fever chart, part of the process of the critical chain project management philosophy rooted in the work of the late Dr. Goldratt, the theory of constraints. And it is, by the way, critical chain. Here's the difference. It's kind of like Elon Musk is playing, what is it, fifth dimension chess, while the rest of us are playing Chinese checkers at best, right? Maybe not all of us, but many of us. Okay. Comparing critical chain to critical path is that profound. It's not even in the same universe, the difference of approaches. Okay? And so give me a chance to shout out about Goldratt's book, the late Dr. Goldratt's book, Critical Chain. If you're not in manufacturing, that really is the first book you ought to read. Now, so why is that important to fast charge and fast charging? Okay, guess what? Every business, every process, every system has but one weakest link. And you can quote me on that. Of course, you'd be quoting Goldratt, you'd be quoting Bill Detmer, Dr. Alan Barnard, and a host of other people. But every business, every system has but one weakest link. And in the charging world, okay, but let's back up. Let's say it more impactfully. In the EV space, electric vehicle space, there's but one weakest link, and it's charging. Okay? If you did not know that, give your head a shake. Okay? So one of my heroes, a mentor, a colleague, a business associate, a friend, truly one of my best friends, now of over 20 years. He says it this way, and this is profound. Are you sitting down? He says, sleep as you charge. Okay, that is so simple, so elegant that you can miss the impact of that statement. Okay, the reason, if you want to leave your backyard, you've all heard me say this if you've followed me for more than a day or two. You've all heard me say, if you want to leave your backyard in your EV, there's only one vehicle on the planet you can buy. Okay? It's called a Tesla. Okay? Love it or hate it, don't care. Are they all perfect? No. There's a reason we have a lemon law. Stuff happens. Okay? Believe it or not, as good as those robots are, and believe me, there's a lot of robots involved with Tesla, stuff happens. I already covered that earlier, right? But as good as they are, and they are the best, in fact, I'm sitting in a Model X right now. I've been spending a couple weeks with it. I drove it up from South Carolina to Ohio, and boy, it changes your understanding of the EV space when you actually live with something like this. And the Model X, if you're going to pick one to experiment with, this would be it. Okay, and you can find them on Turo, Turo. Okay, so I said all that to say Tesla has these superchargers everywhere. The only way I know to get from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach to Ohio quickly is in a Tesla, in an EV. If you're going to make that trek in an EV. Why do I say that? Because littered throughout the journey are Tesla supercharging stations. So why is that important? Because at a minimum, almost at an absolute minimum, there are 8 charging posts. So guess what? That means if you pull into a spot and the first one's busy, no big deal. If the second one's busy, no big deal. Now, most of the other chargers, and they're at best 50, 60 kW for the other guys along this route. I've mapped it out. I tried to make the trip in a Nissan, and not good. If post 1 and 2 are busy or one of them's broke, you're done. You're sitting there all night waiting on your turn. Okay, not a pleasant experience. But with Tesla, there's at least 8, in some cases 12. Like in my hometown, New Philadelphia, Ohio, late last year they put in a supercharger because guess what? We're on Interstate 77, which is a kind of a big deal if you're a gearhead, if you use your automobile for stuff other than running to the grocery store. Anyhow, I'm getting off topic. We use critical chain, the project management approach, not PMI's tools, okay? Not critical path, not anything other than critical chain, because guess what? There's but one weakest link. And we are solving, I went way longer than I thought I would. We are solving the charging problem because it is the one weakest link. Guess what? Even when you get to Myrtle Beach, there's only 2 superchargers. Okay, that's a big area, but they're never full. You know, I've been there multiple times, both locations, over the course of different days of the week. And only once did I see the one out by Greg Norman's restaurant, which I guess is North Myrtle Beach or pretty close to it. Only once was I there, and it was full except for the handicap spot. And so I didn't want to take it, and a guy looked up, noticed me sitting there waiting patiently, and left. Now, maybe he was leaving anyhow. Maybe it was courtesy. But as good as those 2 spots are, they're not as good as charging where you sleep. Aha. Enter fastchargeenergy.com. Check it out. Let's talk. If you've got questions about EVs, I got answers, okay? We've been at this a while. And my good friend Patrick has over 9 years experience with Teslas and charging and implementing charging solutions, because guess what? Sleep as you charge is the most profound statement you will hear in the EV charging space. And if you can't do that, think of this, over 90% of all charging of Teslas is done at home. Aha. Reach out. I could help, but you have to ask.